What's up? Welcome back to another one. And I have had my Apple Watch for well over a year now. And over that year, I have totally abused this thing and really tested the durability and UI of this thing. I wanted to share with you guys some of my thoughts and opinions on it after a year. So, y'all know what an Apple Watch is. I'm not going to do like a 1 year later review. I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on this thing and things I think are worthy of mentioning after me using this for a year. So first off, I'm going to start with the exterior of this thing and the durability. So how is the exterior of this thing held up after me like smashing this thing against concrete and going to the beach, swimming in salt water, getting sand all in this thing? It's held up extremely well, much better than I would have originally thought. If I get a little bit closer with this thing, I'm probably going to overlay some B-roll, but it is pretty scratched up, not too horrible. Like my button on the side has gotten a little bit messed up, but it is held up really well because I have literally scraped this thing against so many things. And the screen, I think they call it like some kind of sapphire glass on it. I don't know if it's actual sapphire glass, but it holds up extremely well, and I'm very impressed because I have not run a screen protector or anything on this thing, and it's still perfectly fine, perfectly usable. And I'm very picky when I get little scratches and stuff on my screen, and none of the blemishes have bothered me in day-to-day use. The buttons held up fine from the sand. The sand, they were a little bit creaky after you get sand in them, but after a couple hours, the sand would wash out and it would just work perfectly. Still after a year of going to the beach, a pretty good amount. It works perfectly. Speakers work fine. Holds up really well. Alright, so before we talk about the hardware of this thing, I would just say this is an Apple Watch Series 3. I did an unboxing video on this. I think I posted it in October of 2020. So it's been a little while, and at the end of this video I'm going to tell you if I still recommend buying an Apple Watch Series 3. But first, let's talk about the hardware on this thing and how it's held up over the last year. So battery life is one of the main concerns with these because it's older. You expect the battery life to deteriorate. To give you an example, it's 5 p.m. right now, and I've been wearing this all day. I'm at 86%. I'll show you right there. See? 86%. Now, there is a reason for that. It's because every single day I've had this for the last year, it's been on airplane mode because I have not used any of the features connecting to my phone. I haven't used any of that stuff. I solely use it as a watch and a flashlight, basically. So that's why probably my battery has held up so well. I can get 3 days of battery life and still have like 20% remaining on this thing, which is insanely impressive, but keep in mind that's because it's on airplane mode. I'd say if you are recording workouts and getting like text on this thing all day, I'd say you would get a solid 2-day battery life if you weren't on it all day. And I'd say after a year, the battery is exactly the same as it was as the first day I bought it. Arguably better, but it's the same. Alright, I did mention the flashlight. The flashlight is other than like the watch face, the second most used thing on this watch for me. Solely because it's so useful just to, turn it on, go like that, hit that, and then when you turn it around, it gets really bright. And it is really useful. It gets surprisingly bright, and of course there's like a SOS mode and stuff, but that has proved very useful at night, and it lights up the room pretty well, which is really impressive for me. One of my favorite features on the Apple Watch, which I wasn't even expecting. Ease of use on this thing is great. Even like when you're in a movie theater and you're like, oh shoot, my Apple Watch keeps turning on because your wrist is like pointing up. Super easy to turn on theater mode. Everything works really well with it. But one thing that doesn't work very well for me, which is also one of the reasons why I have not turned this thing off airplane mode much, is like 6 months ago, this thing had an update, and I went to update it, and it reset the whole watch, and unpaired it from my phone. And I can't get it to pair back, which is great. It's still set up, like it's paired to my phone, but my phone is not saying that it's paired to it, so that's great. I haven't like researched it too much, but from like the hour and a half that I spent on it, couldn't figure out how to fix it, so I just decided not to turn it off airplane mode, and I don't really care that much. But that's one weird thing that I have. That could be something that you can possibly fix, but it's not something I care enough about to fix, so I've just kind of lived with it, but I thought it should be something that I mentioned. So last of all, I've been pretty positive except for that last point, but this thing over the year I have noticed has gotten a little bit slower. It's an Apple Watch Series 3. It never was very fast, but now more than ever, it's really slow. You'll hit something and you'll be like, come on. It is what it is. I've also noticed that the screen, as time goes on, you see the newer Apple Watches out, The screen's pretty bad on this thing, just the bezels. But here, if we go to the calculator, you can kind of see that if you've seen the newer ones, it really does not wrap around very well. That is literally where you're seeing those buttons at the edge. You're seeing that literally is the edge of the screen. They try to hide it, but it really, at this point, is getting pretty dated. Those are all my points that I thought were worth mentioning, that if you were thinking about getting a new Apple Watch, any Apple Watch, that would be helpful to know. But after a year and like 3 months now, would I recommend getting an Apple Watch Series 3 specifically? No way. Do not buy one of these, only because the Apple Watch SE is out. It's only, I think it's like only like $70 or $80 more, and it gives you a newer body style on it, a bigger screen. It's way better, and it's something that even if you have an Apple Watch Series 3 like me, you should probably upgrade to an SE, because it's basically an Apple Watch Series 5. So if you're thinking about getting an Apple Watch in 2022, that's weird to say, and you don't have an Apple Watch yet, I'd highly recommend getting one, but not a Series 3. Definitely look at an Apple Watch SE. And you never know, I might have a review on that sometime soon. But hopefully you all have found this video helpful. If you did, comment, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I really do appreciate it. And thank you guys. We hit 100,000 views on this channel, which is absolutely insane. I've been doing this for over 4 years now, which is crazy. Not the most consistent in the world, but that really is awesome to see that. And we're at like 575 subscribers at the time of filming this video, which is really awesome. So I want to thank y'all for that. And I'm going to keep going, even though I'm not always the most consistent, but I hope y'all keep enjoying my videos. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.